Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Movie Night here on Random Trek. I am your mind-dwelling captain, Christopher Engel, joined as always by my first officer, the man who believes we should implant the idea of a Kess spin-off, Commander Brennan, the Mystical Mar. Brennan, how goes that task of getting a Kess spin-off?
You're waiting for a train.
I am waiting for a train. Today, we are taking a look at the Christopher Nolan masterpiece, the Mind F movie of this generation, Inception. I watched this 3 times, and still I couldn't tell you always what's happening. But you know what? That's not always the sign of a bad movie. Brennan, what do you think of this film going in? This was your idea to do Inception, one of your, I believe you said, one of your all-time favorite films.
Absolutely one of my all-time favorites, yes. Christopher Nolan is one of the greatest filmmakers of our time. Arguably the best filmmaker of our time.
Mm-hmm.
And he has had such an influence on Hollywood. In fact, I would argue that Inception is why we have basically a renaissance of science fiction in the 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
Which takes us every which way to the Planet of the Apes trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
Interstellar, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, Ex Machina, the list just goes on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason we have that is the success of Inception.
Yeah, I mean, and Christopher Nolan is probably the most continuous and prominent director of this century so far. Very consistent. I think him and Denis Villeneuve right now are the no knock on any other director, but probably the two greatest directors that are working regularly and continuously putting out work right now.
I would agree with that, yes.
So, to tell this story, we had to be joined by a guest. Unfortunately, we needed to convince our guest that this was a great movie. And so I can't tell you the guest we chose, but I can tell you that we are broadcasting live from inside the dreams of that guest.
Yes, we will call our guest Bob.
It is Bob. Yes. So we are trying to convince Bob through this review to review this film with us in real life.
We'll see how that goes.
Great setup. Great setup for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But as always, I turn the con over to Commander Brennan.
Yes, Inception, released in 2010. Right on the heels of Nolan's success with The Dark Knight. Certainly a mind-bending film, to say the least.
There's an unintentional pun.
And definitely one that even I don't understand, and I've seen it many times.
Mm-hmm.
I think I get the gist of it.
Yeah.
So, we're talking a serious all-star cast with an incredible film by an auteur, Christopher Nolan. A wildly successful film, winner of 4 Academy Awards.
Nominated for 4 more.
Yeah, and it should have gotten the Best Director nomination, but that's another story.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that year when they announced the Best Director nominees. I think everyone did a double take and went, wait, where's Nolan on this list? But regardless, it has gone down as one of the greatest films of the 21st century. Maybe even in like the top 5 of the century. All right, so we're going to get into it. So it's a fairly complex plot. But to sum up the plot of this film, a group of dream thieves, I suppose, dream infiltrators, are hired, more or less against their will, to sneak into the dreams of the young heir to a business company to plant the idea of breaking up his father's business empire.
Mhm.
That's kind of the plot. And the reason that they need to do this is the leader of the dream infiltrators needs to get back to the United States, but has criminal charges against him that are keeping him out. A rich Japanese businessman is willing to help him get his charges cleared if they help with this job.
Mhm.
Therefore, the leader of the team, played by Leo DiCaprio, assembles his group of infiltrators and they infiltrate the mind of this young man.
Mhm.
And things go haywire. They sort of go according to plan, but at the same time, they don't go according to plan.
Yeah.
That is the plot of this film. The story of the film deals with deeper ideas of love and loss and the idea of dreams within dreams and many, many other things besides. So, Chris, your thoughts on the plot of this film and the story?
It's we're used to saying a lot of the films we review are simple plus. This is not simple. It's a simple idea, but the complexity of we're going to go inside the mind, but then we're going to go deeper in their mind, and then we're going to go deeper again. Dream within a dream within a dream. This Inception. Um, and it's a heist film. That's another thing we got. Essentially, this is a heist film in a weird way, but it's a heist film.
Yeah, an action heist film, yes.
Um, so how do you create or how do you write a heist film that doesn't steal anything? Nolan had a challenge on his plate in creating this film, and of course he wrote it, directed it. That's pretty standard for him. Um, I love this idea, and it's a great way to explore the power of the human mind and what the human mind can do and what the human mind can withstand and the limits that we have. And still scientifically, one of the mysteries we have of existence is dreaming. We don't understand why we dream and how dreams fully work. And every person is different. So everybody dreams, even those who don't say everybody dreams. To what amount? To what memory? Well, that's a whole other issue. But to take these ideas, mix it up with what essentially is staring at an MC Escher painting for 5 hours and realizing that there's a story in that painting.
Yes.
And you get this masterpiece that I don't understand. I've read the script. I've found the script. I've read the script. I don't understand this film. Normally, that's a knock. This kind of film keeps you on your toes because you don't know what reality you are in. You don't know where you are. You don't know what's going on. Is this reality? Is this not? Spoiler alert, end of the film. Is he in limbo? Is he not in limbo? Is he in his own mind? Is it what's going on? We don't know.
Or does
But
it matter too? We don't know either.
we don't know either way. And I like how confusing this is. I don't feel like Nolan's writing here makes us feel stupid. You know, like someone you're like, I don't understand it. You're like, am I just not getting it? No, we're not meant to get it all. And I like this. I really love the approach here of creating a very smart yet action packed story. You know, that you don't know what's going to happen next. Are we in a dream? Are we in a deeper dream? Are we in another? What's going on? We have no idea. Is this going to work? Is this not going to work? What happened? Wait, what's this? Just what? Because Nolan is known for his twists too. This whole work is a masterpiece of writing. It has to be if you and a writer, as a writer, are able to keep track of the depth and twists and turns that are going on. I'm sure he probably had a 3D flowchart. I really do. As he was writing this, he would have had to.
Yeah.
So I love this plot, but I love the story even more. I love the depths that it takes us and drags us with it. And I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, when people talk about this film, they're not talking so much about the plot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the plot is, a heist movie breaking into a guy's mind, planting an idea. What people talk about more are the ideas presented by this film
Mm-hmm.
and the themes, and we'll get to those in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I think that what we have here is a story with so many layers that you could spend a lifetime dissecting it.
I think you just dissect it and you still won't get anywhere.
Yeah, and you still won't fully understand it, but I think that you're right. There usually is a knock against it.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, you're always discovering something new, and the confusion of it is part of the mystery. So now we come to our characters, and this is quite a cast. Some big names in this film. We have, of course, led by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ken Watanabe. We had Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We had Michael Caine, of course. Elliot Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
even like Tom Berenger and Pete Postlethwaite.
Mm-hmm.
And just an amazing cast of people. Because there are so many, there are a few I want to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we begin, of course, with our lead, Leonardo DiCaprio as Cobb. My own thoughts is that this is a Leo performance. Not that that's a bad thing, but this is very much a Leo performance. He is good in the film, very good. It definitely feels in keeping with what we've come to expect from Leo. Uh, so I'll ask you, what do you think of the performance? And more importantly, what do you think of the character's arc in this story?
I love that again, heist film. We're going on our last heist. I got it. This is the way I get out of every trouble that I'm in.
Hmm.
You know, but it's human trouble. It's not a matter of I owe the mob or I gotta, no, it's I want to be with my kids.
Hmm.
I can't see my kids if I don't do this. You Um, and there's a very selfish motivation, an understandable motivation, but a selfish motivation to push through the way that he's doing. He knows that if this doesn't work, he's done. And he messed up the Saito job at the very beginning, which kind of set his pace in this one. So this is a guy who already is off his game because it's personal. Any heist film that I've ever seen, any crime film, one of the constant things I always see is you can't make it personal. This character makes it personal continuously and is also fighting his personal demons in the visage of his wife. So it never ends. It never ends for him. And I really like pardon the bad pun, the depths that he's willing to go to make this plan successful and the risks he's willing to take. And I think part of it though is that there's the risk that if he fails or does this wrong, he could be trapped in limbo for who knows how long and never wake up. But if I remember correctly, that's where he lost his wife in the first place. So maybe the idea is if I can't be with my kids, maybe I could be with my wife. There's a double level of selfishness here, two sides, because he can't have both. He can't have her back. She's gone. But being able to exist in his memory, as we briefly saw when Ariadne kind of invaded and saw his memory and his wife, kind of came to that understanding. We know that that's there. It's always with him. So I really like this character and the real stakes that are in there, but also the personal stakes that are in there. But I understand why he's trying to do it. As a dad, I totally get it. As a husband, I totally get it.
Yes, well said. I think that the arc of this character is learning to let go of Mel because she's passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And he's holding on to that so strongly that it is interfering with his ability to do this job and nearly compromises the job because of the attachment that he has that he refuses to let go.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that, yeah, he has the opportunity to be with her in these dreams, but that's not actually her. Whereas his children do exist for real. And sort of the choice he has to make there, but also the Ariadne helping him to eventually let go of what cannot be except just a fantasy.
You know, Let me ask this is just a hypothetical question.
All right.
What if this entire experience of him is him still in limbo? Because he talked about in his backstory that him and his wife kept going deeper and deeper and deeper, and how he lost her to limbo. What if he also never left?
And
It's not this paradise that we are made out to be, but him living through the ideal scenario and kind of this moral obligation within himself. Hence the ending of the film with the top. What if he never left? And he's been there that entire time. And kind of a Matrix thing. All of this is just inside his mind.
interesting.
Or even kind of like a Saint Elsewhere kind of thing. Or, like it's all the story that we're seeing is just him trapped within himself.
It's interesting because obviously, the end of the film has ignited much discussion.
Hmm.
That was it all a dream? Is he in a dream? Is he not in a dream? But the idea of what if he has been trapped in that limbo the whole time? And this is just him imagining a scenario where he could,
Hmm.
get back to his kids.
Kind of a reverse of what we saw in Shutter Island.
It would be very, very interesting if that were the case. And the great thing about the end of the film is it ignites so much debate and discussion.
Hmm.
And we could go on and on about the theories of called the journey, but taking it on a surface level, it's him eventually needing to let go of what is no more than a memory.
Hmm.
And if indeed he is in the real world, letting go of what he can't have and that he's holding on to, and then going to back to what he can have,
Hmm.
which are his children. Um, so it's a fascinating journey of the character. I think that while the performance is definitely a Leo performance, he's doing a great job. It's not really any different than what we're used to with him.
Right.
But the journey of the character is really where the strength of this character lies.
Hmm.
The strength of the writing in creating this character. Now you mentioned Maul, his wife, and we definitely want to talk about her.
Hmm.
Academy Award winner, as I should say, Leo is an Academy Award winner now. But at the time of this movie, Academy Award winner Marion Cotillard, the French actress, plays Maul, Cobb's wife, who, yeah, was convinced that reality wasn't real, committed suicide, and now haunts his memories.
Hmm.
And more than that, every time the cloud goes into someone's mind, Mal seems to follow. And because of his attachment to the memory of her, he can't escape. I think that Marion Cotillard, in terms of performance, gives the best performance of anyone in this film. As someone who has been driven mad by the idea of what is real and what is not. So, Chris, yet again, we'll ask the question: what do you think of her performance, and what do you think of the the the, the story of this character?
There's a little bit of mythology to her. And again, I don't know if it coincided, but this is what I saw. She really reminds me of in Irish mythology of the Banshee. This tormented soul who once was human and loved and now is doomed to wander and to take people with her, to take them away. Which of course is the manifestation of his own guilt, of his own feeling that he caused this for his wife. So now she lives rent free in his mind, he says protecting. I don't call that protecting, not what she's doing. And it's he would have the ability, as trained as he is, to focus his mind to where she is not that visage anymore. but he's still holding that torch. He's holding that guilt. He loves her. He feels awful for what happened. And she plays this so well. This is his wife. This is the woman that he's supposed to be in love with. And yet, every time we see her, say for a short moment again, where Ariadne saw them in that private moment, she's aggressive. She is out to destroy anyone else.
He's violent.
She's very violent. And again, but that we have to remember that that is a manifestation of Cobb's mind. And so to me, that means he is aggressive. He is violent. He is those things. Now, it's his drive. I'm not saying he's going to go out and go shoot somebody. Or, no, he's not that kind of guy. But the drive to have everything back that was taken from him
Yeah.
is aggressive.
And
And
it's so aggressive that that's why she acts that way.
mhm. And she plays this out so very well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think Marion Cotillard is a terrific
Mhm.
actress.
Mhm.
And the character could easily have been written as a cowering, nervous wreck.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
a character of overly emotional, crying mess or something like that.
And as we're talking about these characters and these actors, I can't help but also point out that we have to connect them to Nolan himself again. Not only did Nolan write this, but the pretty much the entire cast here are his regulars. This is who he pulls from on a regular basis in different films, especially like Michael Caine. I think Michael Caine's been all but one or two of
One or
his
two, I
films.
think, yeah.
Yeah, Cotillard, she comes back. Of course, everyone in this film pretty much is his regulars. What does that say about our director that he is able to pull these roles out so well from each of these people? Not, and I know we're just looking at this film, but on a consistent basis to create such a good film. And we applaud Leo regularly on the kind of actor that he is, and yes, he's finally won his Oscar. But I gotta say, as an actor, as someone who is an actor, as much of it is me, my successes are also due to my director at being able to pull those performances out. So that's just one of the things with all of these. I want to just point out that even though yes, individual performance is important, this also goes back to Nolan. This is
Yeah,
Nolan's work.
this is a true ensemble film.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And sometimes a director will assemble an A-list cast, but have it be a disappointment.
I love too that there are three Batman villains in this movie.
Yeah, I don't think Nolan has ever assembled a cast that was a disappointment.
Mm-mm.
Because sometimes when you get too many A-listers and give them not good material, it's embarrassing. Nolan has never done that. And as for Cotillard, he could have written the character to be this kind of, emotional wreck of a character,
Mm-hmm.
which she is to a certain degree. But there is a strength to this character, and almost a frightening strength to this character. Strength is maybe not strength in terms of being a fully strong character, but a strong, almost frightening character.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, that is an extension of Todd's
It is, and Cotillard,
fear and insecurity.
Cotillard is. I will put this out. She is not one of my favorite actresses. There are a lot of other films she's done that I just like. I'm a little so-so. This was not one of those roles. she's so good in this because while she has those aggressive points, she's also subdued. The fact that it isn't her, it's him.
Yeah,
And so she is just a visage. She is just, and she plays that so well. It's definitely was a great move for her, a great role.
yeah. So, I mean, and yet another brilliant performance that Nolan has added. Uh, the other, there's two more characters I wanted to talk about.
Hmm.
One of them is, of course, Elliot Page. Um, Elliot Page has since transitioned,
Hmm.
so we will use the pronoun they, just to be clear. Ariadne, now that's an interesting name.
Hmm.
In Greek mythology, Ariadne gave a ball of string to Theseus to help him navigate the labyrinth. In similar fashion, our Ariadne here is the one guiding the characters through the labyrinth that she has built.
Hmm.
And just like guiding Theseus through the labyrinth, they are the one that helps Cobb navigate his way and finally let go to what is keeping him trapped in that labyrinth.
Right.
Um, so we have that mythological connection yet again. There's a lot of mythology in this movie. And so we add that character, and I think there is a strength to this character, an emotional strength that Cobb does not have.
Hmm.
So Ariadne, they complement Cobb well. As like a sidekick of being the one that is emotionally stable and the one that is able to get Cobb to finally let go of what is holding him back.
Right.
Uh, your thoughts on Elliot Page's performance and the character?
Um, so it very easily could have been that Ariadne could have turned into a love interest. Could have really easily gone that way. And that setup, especially when Ariadne, again, I'm going to reference that scene because to me, it is the key setup scene for the entire film. When she witnesses um, his private moment with his wife in the mind, that right there easily in terms of writing you think, oh, they're going to get closer and Cobb is finally going to separate himself from the memory of his wife and he's going to move on and they'll be together and great, that's what you would expect, but she isn't, and she's the maker of the dream. She's an architect, she's a creator, she's, you know she actually is the least experienced out of all of them in all of this. She's recruited in to help out. Um, and so for me, I really love that she becomes sort of a moral compass for Cobb.
Yeah,
She is the outsider. She is the one that's part of the group but is not part of the group. She is the moral side of it. And
there's more clarity than the others.
she really does. And she even, says, hey, when she sees and he rushes her out to protect her, like, you need to tell these people. You need to tell them. And
What they're getting into, yeah.
yeah, but he won't. He won't. And when it goes down, oh, you
It
did
really
wrong.
goes down, yeah.
Yeah, Ariadne is the one. She's the one. The character is you've got to fix this. You have
Yeah.
to do something about this. You can't stop. Fine. You need to keep going. And you need to do the right thing. Trust in your team. All of this. It's the moral compass, the moral guide. I really appreciate Paige's performance in this. By the way, I was today years old to learn that Paige was also Kitty Pryde. I
Yes, yes,
really
they
never
were. They
realized that.
were.
Isn't it funny? Kitty Pryde was a character that went inside the mind of someone.
Yes, exactly.
Ariadne,
Exactly.
little thing I learned today when I didn't realize it. Um,
By the way,
anyway,
Days of Future Past might be another one of those great sci-fi films that came out
mhm.
because of Inception, arguably,
Yeah,
or at
you
least
know,
in that sci-fi renaissance of the 2010s.
I agree. I would have also said the movie that comes to mind to me because of the visuals is Doctor Strange.
Yes, very much so.
Doctor Strange's ideas and visuals don't happen without this film. And
Yeah,
we're going to get into the spectacle and all of that, but yeah, a lot of the films do not happen until Nolan's work.
yeah.
You just don't. But Ariadne, I really like her. She is a moral compass. I love to see that she is not the damsel in distress. She is not the love interest. It's she carries her own weight and stands as the moral compass for Cobb to follow, even when he doesn't always follow it. She's there. She's loud. She's involved, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. They have the core of steel here.
Hmm.
He or she, of course, referring to the character of Ariadne. Um, if the character is female, as is Kitty Pryde,
Hmm.
they the moral compass of this story. Um, Arguably, they are just as important to this film as Cobb is. And then the last one is J. Robert Oppenheimer himself. Gillian Murphy as young Robert Fisher, um, who is the guy being incepted.
Hmm.
Shall we say, he is the one whose mind is being uh, infiltrated. He is dealing with the loss of his father, played by the late Pete Postlethwaite. He is haunted by the fact that he had a bad relationship with his dad. So this is a very interesting character and story because he is unaware of the heist going on inside his mind.
Well,
And he never exactly finds out what's going on there.
true.
He is aware that there are infiltrators in his mind. Well, he never uh, recognizes the what's going on. His story is really about ultimately a reconciliation with his father, whether real or not, um, of understanding that when he thought his father was disappointed in him, no doubt his dad was disappointed that he tried to be like him. That's pretty deep. And so, as far as an emotional core, obviously we have Cobb's story, but Fisher's story is where we get some emotional payoff
Hmm.
as well. And his journey isn't so much about the heist as it is about the reconciliation um, that occurs as a result of getting pulled into the heist. So, Chris, thoughts on the performance and the story of the character?
Yeah, I love Cillian Murphy. Um, this okay. Cillian Murphy plays an antagonist, and if this film has an antagonist, it's him. It's
Yeah.
not in the traditional sense, but it's him. Um, he plays the antagonist so well. I think back to 2004, I want to say is when it came out. The movie Red Eye.
Oh yes, Red Eye.
Wes
Yes.
Craven classic. Highly recommend it. Not a
Yeah.
horror film, a really good
Psychological
suspense film.
thriller.
Yes, very much so. And Cillian Murphy is the bad guy straight out in this. And I saw that before I saw Batman Begins.
Yeah.
So those two performances put together, Cillian Murphy can do no wrong in my book. I love seeing the craziness that he does. And later on, I mean, come on, Oppenheimer.
I mean,
Fabulous in Oppenheimer.
look at a journey as an actor that he's gone on in his career.
Mm-hmm. And then
Going from our pretty-eyed Jonathan Crane in Batman Begins all the way to winning the Oscar for playing J. Robert Oppenheimer.
mm-hmm.
I mean, what a journey.
It really is. So this is a guy that I appreciate greatly. Um,
He's a good Irish actor. We should mention that.
Never hear the accent. I never hear the accent, which is not a bad thing. It's just I never hear it.
His American accent's pretty good.
Yeah. Um, but he's menacing. And again, in here, it's more his mind is the adversary than it is he himself. Um, and it's really great that at the heart of this, the guy isn't a bad guy. He's just, it's not like he's mustache twirling either, or he's this evil billionaire. No, this is a guy with daddy issues.
Yeah, it's a rich kid with daddy issues.
Exactly. And we never really fully 100% understand why Saito wants this thing broken up fully. I mean, business against business, and
Oh,
but we
no,
never go.
Saito could get called back into the country, and that's all we care about.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's the MacGuffin to get Saito to help Cobb. That's it. Um, but he plays this so elegantly and delicately. The scene where him and Tom, I think it's Tom Berenger, are
Yes,
in the first
who
level.
plays his godfather?
Yeah,
Yes.
when they're in the first level of the dream, and they're chained up together, and they're trying to get Tom Berenger to get him to tell them what's in the safe. Get these ideas. You know, there's an interaction there when he's just talking about the relationship between him and his father that is so earnest and honest. This is a guy who should be scared to death, and he's not. He's just thinking back, like, what is going
I
on? What is
watched that
happening here?
dad, and I never got the chance to, you know,
Yeah, my dad,
he
you
never
know,
got the chance to make things right with his dad.
our company could be saved because of me. Please, my father never loved me. My father never told me it's one of those things.
Yeah,
And we as it's see, I didn't even think of this till now. He's got these daddy issues, and here we have Cobb on the other side. Who is that daddy?
interesting,
He's that
interesting.
daddy. He is exactly
He's
what
alienated from his children too.
he is because he put his work above his family first. The reason why his wife, and I do agree with this, the reason why his wife is dead, the reason why he is not seeing his children is his fault. There is no
Yes.
argument about that in my mind, that he is guilty here.
Yeah, he planted the idea in Mal's head.
Now, is he directly responsible for the death of his wife? No. Was his,
Indirectly, I would say.
yes, absolutely. So him being wanted and what have you, I totally get that. All of this. But again, he put the work above everything else to start with, and that's what Killian Murphy's dad did. Even though I think in the end, again, Killian's Murphy, his father, and that was played by Postlethwaite too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's also right. Yeah.
Postlethwaite plays his dad, although we don't see much of that. But Postlethwaite basically was trying to do what was best for his kid, what he thought was best.
Mm.
Most fathers, I would say, think that even when they're wrong, and we can be wrong, we're not perfect beings.
Mm.
This is really interesting to me that this opposite dynamic that Cobb is the very man that Killian Murphy is fighting about that he never dealt with. I love that juxtaposition, and I don't know if that's intentional,
Yeah, I
but
mean, well, that's the great thing about this film is what is intended and what is not, and what do we bring as an audience to interpreting the film.
mhm,
And that's good art when you can do that. Um,
absolutely.
so we're good there. We'll mention this really quick. It's always great to see Ken Watanabe in a film,
Hmm.
and also Joseph Gordon-Levitt getting a serious role is really cool.
Hmm. Not his last time that Chris Nolan would tap the door to him, and because
Yep,
then he goes on to do Dark Knight Rises, and he was really I really liked him in
yeah,
Dark Knight Rises
great.
for
Al-
being essentially a Robin or a proto Robin. I liked him.
Also, we mentioned a nice, fun performance from Tom Hardy.
Every time I hear his voice, all I think of is Star Trek Nemesis.
Yeah, that's true. He is very much Shenzon.
Even now, when I hear Bane, I hear now I can now hear it. Like before, I couldn't. I thought it was like this is very Sean Connery. No,
Yeah, Bane sounds like Sean Connery. Yeah,
I hear it a little more now, but I love him so much. He also is developing as an actor. Isn't it amazing how the careers of Tom Hardy, Killian Murphy, uh, and so many others really were pushed and launched by Chris Nolan.
even Robert Pattinson being taken seriously by a general public.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and so a wonderful cast of a lot of big, important names.
Hmm.
So then we come to really quick the themes of the film, and we could go on for hours, days, weeks, months talking about themes. But the one of the things that we definitely feel is there are a lot of uh, n- themes to the movie, but also influences, which range from everything to the film Paprika,
Hmm.
bear in mind any anime film Paprika, to Plato's allegory of the cave, to, as I mentioned, the labyrinth and Theseus,
Hmm.
James Bond films, because this is action, an action espionage film, kind of like a James Bond film.
Hmm.
The Matrix, very much so, but also the idea of dreams and an interpretation of dreams,
Hmm.
Escher paintings, as you mentioned, and so many other things besides that are, you could draw parallels to this film and many other stories and works of art. And the other thing to mention is the there is a common theory that the film might be more to do with filmmaking than with dreams, in the sense of Could this be seen as an allegory for making a film, making a constructed dream that film is, and that each member of this team is like a member of a film crew,
Mm-hmm.
with Billy Murphy being the audience and Marion Cotillard being the audience that can't distinguish reality from illusion, the illusion of film. Um, there are so many ways that you could interpret or analyze this film. And we just wanted to mention that because this is a deep movie.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe deeper than any film we've done so far. And just wanted to mention really quick that there are so many themes here
We
that we could spend a lifetime discussing them.
we regularly mention the work of Joseph Campbell. I love
Yes,
the
we
idea
do.
of the hero's journey, and it is definitely in most stories it is probably the most common story archetype that we deal with as human beings. No matter the culture, this is what Campbell says is that the hero's journey is the most common archetype that we use over and over and over and over and again. But Joseph Campbell also says that myths are public dreams, but dreams are private myths. Now, how appropriate is that when we are talking about dream making and what lives within our minds and what we
Mhm.
could do and what have you, and how much this world exists in the mind of Christopher Nolan. So you talk about it being possibly a metaphor for filmmaking in of itself. Yeah, I can't help but put a comparison between Cobb and Chris Nolan himself. And this
Yes,
idea that this is Chris Nolan's playground. The Chris Nolan movies we watch, whether they are based in gritty, grounded reality, based on superheroes, based on science fiction, it doesn't matter. History, it doesn't matter. We are experiencing this private playground. And it is such an honor to get to experience that. And being from Campbell, and we use Campbell all the time on this channel, I really wanted to bring that quote into it because I think it does fit with not just this film, but anything Nolan does, which is why I take it back to what I said in the beginning. Chris Nolan and Denis Villeneuve both are the most consistent working directors right now that make stories for us that I enjoy and look forward to. In fact, here's the funny thing. I talk about myths. What's Chris Nolan's next film?
it's the giving exact same thing because it's the Odyssey.
It's The Odyssey. By the way, all these actors, they're in The Odyssey. All of them.
Yeah,
But we get to play in this playground. We get to enjoy it. So in the story within the story here, when we've got a character who's building dreams and doing things within them, it's the same idea. This is all the same and the playground that we get to play with. It really is an honor to get to sit and watch that in a movie theater. I did see this in the movie theater, but it's worth it. This is valuable um, stuff to get to live in Chris Nolan's mind for a few moments or for a few hours.
yeah, absolutely great. And you're right, this is myth making, is what this is.
Mm-hmm.
These are going to be the modern day myths. Some of the modern day myths. And you're right, just really quick. No one are like two sides of the same coin when it comes to what they are interested in their films. We go now really quick to the music. Zimmer, I think it's one of the most iconic movie scores of the 21st century and maybe even beyond. The work done by Hans Zimmer here. I mean, every time Hans Zimmer is in concert, what does he play? Time,
Everything.
music piece from this film.
I was gonna say everything.
And of course, we get that great horn blast, that wonk sound that now everyone uses. This is the film that really pioneered that. A beautiful score. Hans Zimmer has done some incredible music, ranging from The Lion King, Crimson Tide, Pirates of the Caribbean, um, Gladiator, Inception, Interstellar, Dune, some incredible scores. This is definitely one of his best, and is iconic and instantly recognizable. And that's not easy to do.
Mhm.
Your thoughts on the score?
I don't want to sit forever on this. It's Hans Zimmer. It's amazing. He knows how to play it well, and he and Nolan know how to work with each other.
Very much.
So you know what? It's not. I'm not talking a lot about it because it's so great, and it kind of has become the expectation when Hans Zimmer does something with Nolan that it's
Yes.
going to be epic, that it's going to accompany it, and it's powerful and pushy and in a good way, in a good way.
Let's hope he
Um,
does the Odyssey.
I would love it. I'd actually. I'm gonna go look real quick who's doing it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sure
Now I'm
Nick
gonna go
Horton
look
does
real
the
quick
Odyssey.
who's doing it. Let me look real fast. Because
If
I'll
it gives us the score for the Odyssey, who's going to do that?
because it's next year. Music by Goranson.
Oh, Linda Göransson. That's right. That's right.
Goranson, interesting deviation, but
Didn't
not a bad.
Göransson do Oppenheimer?
Yes, he did.
Okay, well, I mean, there he goes.
But he also has worked with this is another guy that goes around. He worked with Coogler, I
Yeah,
guess comic book movies. He did Wakanda Forever. He
yes.
did
Black Panther.
Venom, Black Panther. I go on and on. He's
The
done the Creed
Mandalorian.
movie.
The
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Still a good choice. Still a good
yeah,
choice.
good choice. But
Book
regardless,
of Boba.
the
Yeah.
score by Hans Zimmer here is next level.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we come to the visual effects, the spectacle. This won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects and Best Cinematography, as well as the two sound Oscars. Um, Visually, it's beautiful. The cinematography is gorgeous. But the mind-bending visuals, when they fold Paris in half, is an amazing scene. Another amazing scene. I would argue the best fight scene of the 21st century. The zero gravity hallway fight with Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Mm-hmm. Who did his own stunt?
is stunning.
Did his own
Is
stunts on that one.
stunning. The visual work here is so incredible, and Nolan very wisely does a great combination of practical and CGI.
Mm-hmm. So when Cobb is first with Ariadne right before they do the folding, the explosions that happen around them, I thought that was all CG. Mm-mm.
They did that for real.
They were practical, and I did not believe this. Both Page and DiCaprio actually are sitting there with the explosions going on around them.
Wow, wow,
I
wow,
because
wow.
again, it looks closer to them than it really is. But I'm sure those things, safety wise, they're certain things. But it looks so good.
Yeah, the
The
slow motion explosions. Yeah,
use of gimbals and wires, and oh, love it.
and but yeah, I mean, I think. it's certainly one of the most iconic movie moments of
Mm-hmm.
recent years.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it like, if I'm not mistaken, they built a hallway, put it on a gimbal, had the actors on wires. It's absolutely astonishing.
Mm-hmm.
So, visual effects, some of the best of the 21st century. Definitely up to the game for visual effects. And truly mind-bending in some cases, but also brilliant in terms of their reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one of the elements of this film that stand out so strongly are the visual effects. In short, this film, in terms of its advancement of visual effects and its examination of myths and ideas, this is the matrix of the modern day.
Mm-hmm.
And they only came out a few years apart from each other. But I think Inception had the same effect the Matrix had in terms of presenting a sci-fi action thriller with with visual effects that changed the game and the idea of examining ideas in reality and dreams. Inception has it all, from the acting to writing to the visual effects to the music, the sound, the cinematography, the directing. All the disciplines are at their height here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's brings us to the end of our examination of Inception. And I turn the con back to you, Captain Ingle.
Thank you. Yeah, this film, it's a great film. Again, I still don't know what's going on half the time and where they are and when they are. In fact, funny thing, in Japan when this was shown, they had a marker at the top of the screen to tell you what dream they were in to keep track.
That might be a good idea.
If it works, it works, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love it. Next month for movie night. We are going back.
Oh, yes.
We're going back to an iconic year. When I say the year, you'll know the movie we're doing. We're going back to 1985.
The
Or
year
is
of
it
my
19
birth.
or
The
is it
year of my birth.
1955?
Mhm.
That's right. We are taking a look at the original summer fun time travel science fiction hit Back to the Future. And we actually may have two guests for that one.
Yeah.
It's looking
We know
good.
one for certain, our good friend Kaylee Vaughn.
She's going to join us, but we might have someone else too join us, which I
Someone
love.
who is very enthusiastic, we'll just put it that way.
But yes, and then next week we are doing Star Trek Picard, season one, episode five,
Oh
Stardust
boy.
City Rag. Yep, the ride is going to
Yeah,
end.
going from Inception to Stardust City Rag. Oh no.
Big difference.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but keep in mind we are really excited because I believe in 3 weeks, we have new season of lower or not lower decks. I wish there was a new season of lower
Yes,
decks
me too.
of Strange New Worlds. Uh,
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot
I'm
wait.
I'm really excited. I am sad because I watched the trailers. And if
I
you watch the
watched the
trailers, you'll know
trailer,
what
so I don't
happened to
know.
Captain Patel, and I'm not happy that they did that in the trailers. Just
I
not
haven't
happy.
watched the trailer, so I don't know a thing.
I wanted to watch the trailers because I was really excited, and then I saw the clip weeks and weeks and weeks ago of the quick Vulcan scene where they turn the crew Vulcan. Have you seen this clip?
Well, if you know the context, don't tell me.
No, they show a short clip. They're in sick
I
bay.
haven't seen the
Yeah,
clip.
yeah,
Yes.
they show the clip. I love the clip. No, that's all I know. Even with the I'm interested based on that clip alone.
Yeah,
It
I'm
got
wondering
this
what's going on there.
four. I believe the title of the episode I think is 4.5 Vulcans.
Oh, nice.
I think that's what it's called. So I'm really excited for
We
that
are
one
very
too.
excited. We love Strange New Worlds around here.
Oh yes, and we did get word. Good news, bad news that it has already been renewed for its 5th season, but that will be its final
Well, at least we get
season.
3 more seasons. That's good.
Yeah, we get 3 more, but I am happy and I'm not happy. Like I kind of miss the 7th season, and I'll be honest, I kind of miss the 20 something episodes.
Yeah.
I just because I want more Trek. I love Star
I
Trek.
don't know. Modern day budgets can support that.
But the good news is that there is another series on its way, Star Trek
Yes.
Academy. It's
Yes.
coming next year. I think it's next year.
Yeah, with Holly Hunter.
I'm
Yay.
all the whole cast for that thing, and everybody coming back, and Tilly's coming back, and Admiral Vance is coming back, and the EMH is back, and I'm all for it. I'm all for this game, so that'll be a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
Can we get a live action Janeway? That'd be nice.
In the 31st century, probably,
Wrong era, but hologram Janeway.
maybe we'll find out what happened to the Protostar, or it's not the Protostar now; it's the I can't remember it.
Or zero will be floating around still.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? See, we're just fanboying out here of what we really want.
But would Zero be in their sphere or in their body?
Well, or Murph. We find out Murph is
Well,
actually.
Earth is still alive, yeah.
I would love a live action Murph. No joke. I would love to see a live
Yeah,
action Murph.
or Fleet Admiral Murph to you.
Admiral Murph. Wouldn't that be weird if the head of Starfleet is Murph?
Yeah, or the president of the United Federation of Planets.
It's Murph. Brennan, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube at Page Turners They Were Not.
You
You
can
can also
find
find me on Blue Sky at wenmer.bluesky.social.
you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at cingle1984. But as always, we end every episode. Kapla and live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.